I'd be curious. I'd love to see someone write it down and post, because it's like, there's one thing you can see across any person that's wealthy. Okay. And I'm talking about wealthy in the form of dollars, not that. So figure by Thursday or Friday, I'll have some new pricing structures for volume. Because like I said, the name of the game going forward is moving into the higher volumes, and having more of these assets out there working for you. Those are levers. Those leverage points that me and Mike Marin have been talking about for the last several weeks. You have capital, which is usually the last one on the list that you probably end up leveraging because you've had to make all that money to be there. You have code and media, very important. Every one of your lead gen properties is a piece of code, right? It's out there working for you as you do other things. You could have 100 of these little, whatever you want to call them, robots, lead gen properties, however you want to think about it, but they don't sleep. The internet doesn't sleep, and neither do these things. So you want to talk about, you think about hiring employees. Some of you guys have never hired an employee or whatnot. And, I think a lot of us tend to get scared when we first hire an employee because there's a lot of unknowns. Are they going to work out? Are they not going to work out? But the one thing we do know is once your lead gen property is ranking and it is at the top of the search engines for the words that are getting the traffic, these things, you really don't have to babysit them. You don't have to worry if they're going to show up on a Saturday morning or late on a Sunday night or whatever the time is that an employee might not show. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of us who maybe come from a background of working in a corporate world or government, or maybe you had your own business and you were a solopreneur. I can't stress enough as you grow and as you scale out, the importance of having code and media working for you. Okay. Because when you do it one time, no one can ever take it away from you. And it works out there on the internet around the clock. Like I said, this isn't just true with just lead gen properties. I'm talking like YouTube videos. Like I said, I have videos from 9-10 years ago that are still getting views. 1 view here, 2 views there, 3 views there. And, you start putting enough of those things out there and you have enough shoes on the shelf. And before you know it, that net that you're casting every day becomes so wide. And I think what happens with a lot of people is we jump in, we get one side up, maybe 2, maybe 3, and we don't really give ourselves that big of a net to go out there and catch fish. And so what that means is if we go and fish in the wrong pond, right? And that the wrong pond just simply means maybe we jump into a town or a niche that is maybe a little more difficult, or there's some unknowns that we haven't calculated for. That net can become very small, right? Because you only have a few opportunities to be bringing in the money. And a lot of you guys need to take a moment and sit down and really start writing down, what are all your revenue streams in your life right now? I'd be curious. I'd love to see someone write it down and post, because it's like, there's one thing you can see across any person that's wealthy. Okay. And I'm talking about wealthy in the form of dollars. Not that that's necessarily wealth, but wealthy, if we're going to grade it in the form of dollars, because dollars are they're becoming less and less valuable, but dollars are a form of energy, right? And so that's something we can grade ourselves on as entrepreneurs, even though it's not the end all be all. But it'd be I think an important exercise for all of us to do is sit down and say, okay, like, where are all the areas I get my income? If you only get your income from one place, like a job, that is a problem, because you are expendable. You are someone that at any time you may no longer be the right person for that company anymore, and that's okay. I think it's important that we cover that, because the moment you don't think you're expendable is generally when the people that you work for think you are, right? Because your ego got so big that you think, hey, I can do anything I want whenever I want. I've been here for 10 years, and no one's going to let me go. Well, I can tell you something. I was at a publicly traded company for 7-8 years, worked my buns off, and it didn't necessarily matter at the time that I wasn't the right fit for where they were going, which they made the right choice. And I'm glad that they did, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be standing here in front of you guys.